Get the club to pop when I come up with the crop. Gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the club spot. Get the club to pop when I come up with the club spot. Get the club to pop when I come up with the club spot. Get the club to pop when I come up with the club spot. Get the club to pop when I come up with everybody. We do it. Everybody. We do it.
Wow, there you go. I was talking, but I was on mute. What is good, everybody? What is cracking? Welcome back to another Trap Talk with MJ. Man, this is going to be an exciting episode. Before we get started, though, man, if you support this channel in any way, please do your boy a solid. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give me a like, dislike. That'd be great. But if you're coming to these podcasts on a regular basis, man, just hit that subscribe button. It's right there. Super simple to hit. Hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of these podcasts. I know a lot of you hit me up and say, man, I missed a live. Well, just click that bell, man. It don't cost you no money. Click that bell. Hit that notification bell. That way you're on top of any live podcasts that we come out, and you don't have to miss epic interviews like we're about to have tonight and all the other previous ones, man. Okay, early birds. Yeah, let me say what up to my early birds. Man, you guys, I know there's so many of you out there who are ready for this episode. You guys been in the comments like a good hour and a half before we even went live. So shout out to you guys who are ready to rock. Before we get into things here, we got to say what up to the sponsors. Shout out to the hardest, the bestest, Cold Blooded Cafe, www.coldbloodedcafe. If you want the bombest, the freshest, the bestest frozen thawed rodents delivered to your doorstep, anywhere from the day one pinkies all the way to the mammoth rats, that's where you got to go. You got eggs cooking, or need to get eggs cooking, they got to be inside a sim container, man. Make sure those eggs go inside a sim box, because you are going to get the perfect humidity. And it's you're definitely your ratio is going to go. Your hatch ratio is going to be a lot higher in a sim box, in my opinion. Okay, and then man, hold on real quick. Why don't I have this uploaded yet? Give me 1 second, okay? Because the channel here, right? Trap Talk with MJ podcast. We came across somebody who wanted to sponsor the channel, so we got a whole new sponsor. And this sponsor, I mean, I am beyond thankful for this sponsor. You have no idea how I'm speechless, man. But shout out to Aussie Boys LLC company went ahead and sponsored the channel, man. Aussie, you're my boy, bro. Honestly, this is I'm beyond grateful, man. I appreciate you so much to even have you wanting to be associated with this channel. Make sure you check out the podcasts I've had with Ozzy. I've had him on here twice. Last week was with Will Moros. Okay, fucking epic ass fucking. You don't want to miss that. Okay, but yo, don't miss that. That shit was information on top of information. You don't want to miss that episode. And then even go back to his one-on-one episode with me, and it was just his choice. It was awesome, man. I'm telling you right now. I got a couple things real quick I want to go and give shout outs to. I got some stickers in the mail. Man, shout out to Banana Bread. I love Banana Bread, man. I fuck with Banana Bread, but this is a cool sticker. This is a Banana Bread Royals here. He sent me some stickers. Sent me a cool little note here telling me that he appreciates and supports the trap. Keep killing it. Much respect, Mike. My name's MJ, Mike as well. So, man, thank you, man. Appreciate this. Now, one thing I'm really excited to show off is my homie State 48 Exotics. My homie Joel over at State 48 hooked it up with this sick ass hat, man. I got to tell you, at first I thought it was a New Era hat. I was like, what? But the quality's just as up there with New Era, if not better. This is amazing. Look at the side. You can see the logos like 3D'd almost like on top of the cap. And yeah, I'm super thank you, Joel. You have no idea. I'm super stoked on this. But yeah, man, that's all I got. So like I said, if any of you want to go ahead and be shot out on the podcast, let me know. Come hit me up. Send me stickers, shirts, all that good stuff, and we'll be in touch, man. Tonight, man. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty, man. Enough is enough. Tonight, man, we have a really special guest. I'm beyond special because this is somebody who, man, this is like, I always talk about Justin, I talk about Miguel, but I can tell you right now, the gentleman we have on tonight is definitely by far one of the first people I've come across in the Reptile game that just really threw me by surprise. The way he brought stuff to the table, the way his setups were, the scaleless ball pythons that he was breeding. I mean, he's just one of a kind, man. And without further ado, we have Daniel Allison here from Constriction Addiction. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just trying to survive.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I know we were talking a little bit about that before we went live and whatnot, and I didn't want to dig too deep because I want to talk about that now and whatnot. But before we get started into all that, Daniel, kind of tell us a little bit. I think you're in Georgia, is that right? But can you let us know where your location's at or where you're from, and just kind of update us where you're located and all that good stuff?
We are right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, probably about 10 minutes. Right on the North Carolina, South Carolina line. So we're pretty close to Justin, about 2.5 hours.
Okay. All right. And that's kind of where, that's where you were born and raised. That's where you're from?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, oh, okay. Awesome. Now, kind of tell me a little bit, Daniel, as far as the beginning stages, was ball pythons just a part of your life as a kid? Was this something you stumbled across later on in life? How did that work?
Actually, no. I was actually drag racing right out of high school. Ended up meeting Britt. She had a pet ball python. Kind of got into pet stores, was looking at the different snakes and things like that. And a friend of mine that I'd come to know at the pet store decided, he said, "Hey, man, I'm going to the reptile show this weekend. You want to go with us?" At the time, it was Columbia, South Carolina Repticon, and I took off down there. And, I was young and was blown away at all the mutations and the market and, a world that I didn't even know existed now existed to me. So it blew me away. And, I just jumped into it full steam, put my head into it. And here we are, 14, 15 years later.
Shit just flies by, huh? Does it seem like it just flies by? I mean, 14, 15 years sounds like a long time, but how do you feel that feels?
It definitely flies by. It doesn't feel like it's been 15 years, but it definitely has flew by. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, man. Because like I was talking earlier before I went live, you were definitely one of the first, handful of accounts that I came across that was like super professional, and it was just something that I was like, all right, at some point that's my end game. Like I want to be at that level. And I'm pretty bummed out I never got to see you at any shows. I don't know if you're going to be setting up at any more shows. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I just remember Miguel. He had a vlog where he showed just like you and your pit crew, man. You had I don't know how many people you had working behind your table. I'm sure there, but you guys were all matching shoes. Like everything was matching. Like I was like totally thrown. Like I was like, dude, that's what I'm talking about. It looked like NASCAR, bro. Like everyone was like, you could tell whose car they're with. You know what I mean? Type of thing. Where did that come from? You've always been that way? Have you always been kind of like that type of person when it comes to something that you're putting your name on?
Well, originality is hard to come by these days, and you know, it's one of those things where you take little pieces of different parts of your life, different chapters of your life, and you apply them into every aspect of your life and moving forward. You know, I always say, good or bad, every person you meet, you take a little piece of them with you. You learn something from that person you didn't learn from the last, and all that snowballs something down the road. But you know, powder coating, we did that drag racing. We bought a powder coated chassis. You know, that kind of set us apart a little bit. You know, it's just it's a little piece of each puzzle that has just kind of progressed over time into CA today.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it was something that, you know, it was all premeditated, that you can tell, right? It was all something that you've thought of. It probably simmered. It was just a plan put into action, which I love people who put plans into action, because, you know, that's what this world was made off of, right? People doing shit versus not doing it.
That's right.
So I just want to go ahead and say real quick, but my first reach around for you right there, Daniel, was how much I saw your presentation, bro. Like, you were just like second to none, bro, on that. Like, you know what I mean? And the cool thing is also you make yourself well known with the pictures you take too. Like, you could tell that's a CA picture, like, you know, because you always have it behind your rack, right? You have a distinct rack, which is the green. I love that green, bro. I wore this shirt for you, by the way. Just I need one of your shirts, but I gotta get something where I'm like, you know what I mean? I gotta show Daniel what I mess with. But yeah, so basically, you know, I love how basically, like, you know, like I was saying, I see a post of yours, I could tell it's yours, right? Plain and simple. But then getting into the animals, like the morphs you breed, right? From what I know, man, I haven't seen anyone. I mean, when the scaleless ball pythons were like, wow, everyone wants one, right? You were one of the few really breeding them and coming out with them. How did you stumble across that project? Because a lot of people steer away from that project. So how did you embrace that project?
Man, you know, the Skelos project has been one for the record books, to be honest with you. It's been a long road. It's been a rough road. You know, it had a very rough start. We had to basically stuck with the project. We tried to build it the best we could. We tried to put information out that we can to help people and try to shed some light on those. Now, I have slipped a little bit with time and not been able to put as much information out as I would like to. There's a lot of new updates and stuff I would like to put on the Scala series and add to it as well, but we can talk about all that later. As far as the Scala, you know, project itself, it's nice to see it starting to flourish and people are starting to recognize it as a project. When it first come out, you know, it was so unnatural that people's first reaction was to turn away from it.
Yeah,
it's like it's more accepted today than it was 5 years ago. So it's come a long way. It still has a long way to go. I believe they have their place in the market. I really do. And I think that we're going to see some cool mutations from this project. I really do.
I do too, man. And that's the thing. I've literally, you know, seen snakes that you've hatched, and then I see Miguel inquire, and even hatch some crazy scaleless or some just clean looking scaleless. I'm all about like something that's good and quality and clean, right? And that's, you know, that's what really stands out to me. But, you know, I've just heard like the shedding, right? It's always an issue with the shedding, that they shed so much, and then you can't have them too wet, you can't have them too dry, right? Is there a rule of thumb for you, or is there something more simple that you could just say, look, follow this and stop overthinking and leave it alone? Or, I mean, can you help people out with that, or maybe enlighten me on that real quick?
We completely overthought these animals from the beginning. The care sheet for them, the care requirements. When I started, you know, there was no information. I had to really beat my head against the wall and try to figure out what works. And what we've come down to is they're not much different than an animal with scales. You want to keep them on Reptizorb liners. You want to keep them on paper towels. I do feel they do slightly better in plastic racks for hatchling size. You know, I think they do a little better in those. But honestly, for me, for what I have found here, now everyone's snake room is different. You know what I mean? You've got more humidity in the south than you do the north. The north's cool and dry, vice versa. It goes all into how you have your room set up. But what we have found is they eventually become very simple to care for. They're not as big a deal as what we thought they were going to be. They will not handle abuse in any way, shape, or form to a point. What I mean by that is if you get 3 or 4 sheds backed up on a snake with scales and you put that in a tub of water, you can roll it all right off. You can't do that with a scaleless ball python, and that's where the bag bomb comes in. The bag bomb we thought was going to be a maintenance thing. A lot of people will use it once a month just to make their scaleless ball pythons look perfect and pretty and moisturized and healthy. We haven't used bag bomb unless we get a dry shed, something that's very serious that we can't just roll off. That's the only time we're using bag bomb now. I mean, the care has become very, very simple with the scaleless ball python. I think the biggest thing is just keeping them on something like a paper towel or a Reptile liner.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the case with a lot of animals that were first being kept here or whatnot. People just overthought them, or overthought the care for them. And, like for instance, I'm really big on green tree pythons, right? And a lot of new keepers were freaking overdoing, like they were giving it a hot spot and all this shit that green trees necessarily don't really need. And they just couldn't get them to go, right? But a lot of keepers out there who've kept these animals and knew there were simpler ways just didn't want to speak up. I feel like, you know what I mean? Because, it's the chondro community is different. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird, but like it's getting a lot more, like information is getting put out there a lot more, but then you could tell back in the earlier days. And I know this with ball pythons too, information just wasn't shared. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, like 15 years ago, right, Daniel? I mean, you couldn't just go to freaking social media and be like, oh, let me find out what's going on with this. Like, well, how are you getting your information when you first started in this? That's a good intro to that.
When I first started in this, I spent 12 hours a day on the computer before I even had ball pythons. I had, a couple corn snakes and like just stuff that I bought at the pet store. But I was so into it, I probably spent 12 hours a day combing, the Bush League. This was before the Bush League was even brought about. But I would stay on, forums, whatever information I could find. And there wasn't much out there. It was, Mark Manick's breeding sheet that we all come to know and love. And, Will Banks had a quick one on his. I think he's took it down. But that was it. That was all that was out there. And nobody would tell you anything. Nobody would help you. Nobody would tell you nothing. You pretty much had to do it on your own. You had to figure it out on your own. These guys today, man, with social media, YouTube, you guys got it made. I mean, it's the care sheet's there. Everything is there for you.
Right.
Great, because that information has now opened up the hobby and the keepers got just so many more opportunities. Like I said, with I want to do more care sheets on the scaleless ball python under the Scala series on our YouTube channel. But the actual scaleless ball python itself, if you can keep, like you were talking about green tree pythons, I started out with green tree pythons. If you can keep green tree pythons, you can easily keep a scaleless ball python. Easily.
Sweet.
Yes.
Well, good to know. Check that off my list. Because I kind of I got talked out of it. I'm not going to put the person's name out there, but they had them, and I was like, yo, what's up? I've been wanting them, and, my wife wants them, and they literally told me, don't do it. And I was like, I feel like there's a move behind that. I'll look into it further. I'm not tripping. But scaleless, I think those are super unique snakes, and never forget the impact they had when they first came into this damn hobby, and they're still nuts. You know what I mean? I feel like they're definitely one of a kind. You see, every time you see a picture of a scaleless, it's a piece of art. I feel like
throughout the world, they're really incredible animals. They really are. I mean, if you've never held a scale, you can see the pictures of them. They look absolutely amazing. They're incredible. But I've always said from day one, until you actually hold one and you actually feel that animal, it's mind-blowing how that animal feels. I mean, they feel just like your skin. It's really, really cool to see the animal without scales. It really is.
Yeah, man. Now I do remember. Or did you have some? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, when we start going into mutations and morphs and things into scaleless and see how much the scales actually have effect on the pigment and color and the melanin in the skin. It's really going to be cool to see how that plays out in all the morphs. I think we have a lot of ground left to cover in scaleless. It's going to be great.
I mean, it's only opening the doors for a bunch of other projects that's going to make this. I mean, there's so many different reasons why this hobby is not going anywhere. You know, as long as we we do our due diligence against the law, with the laws and shit. But the projects are endless, bro. Like scaleless on top of multiple different type of combos that are just in this game for life. You know what I mean? It's pretty exciting to even think about it. Now. As exciting as all this sounds and everything that we're talking about, man, let's I don't want to wait too long. I want to kind of it's on my mind, like fucking just bugging me, bro. So let's talk about why. Just tell me why stop what we're doing? What is it? I mean, just you know where I'm getting at right now, man, because it's hard to even bring up, but I just want to know what's happening. Like, well, why do you have to leave the hobby?
I am not going anywhere. CA will still be around. What I need to do is I'm going to downsize a little bit and change directions.
All right.
CA is going to stay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm hearing this. This is, dude, I thought Daniel, God dang it. I thought I was like, it's 22 minutes in this and I'm about to fucking lose. I'm about to get all depressed right now because I have to ask this question because I'm sweating bullets because I don't know how I can't be fake, right? I can't just be asking you questions when there's something on my mind that's just like, it's like just weighing over me. So I was like, okay, I know what you're made out of. We all know how fucking epic and legendary you are, everything you've been doing all these years. So it was kind of like, dude, it's like it's a gut shot, beyond a gut shot. I don't know. It's like getting hit by a fucking train, bro. Whew. All right, let's talk about it. I want to know more. All right. So Daniel, CA's here to stay. All right. Shit's just, things are getting moved around. Is that right? So we're moving around some projects or let's talk more. Let's all right. I'm in a good mood. Let's do this. Let's talk more about it.
I am we just touched on it. I've been doing this 15 years. I love what I do, and unfortunately, at some point, size, workload, and things like that can take the fun out of this for you. And I'm at a point in my life to where I really want to get back to having fun and enjoying and loving what I do.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the collection down. I'm going to cut it in half. Okay. We were twice as big as we are now 3 years ago. And at that moment, I started downsizing. It was just way too much. We were way too big. It was driving us insane. And so, I find that, good help is hard to find. And I find myself letting projects like the Ultramel stuff and the Scala stuff and stuff it's not getting pushed like I want it to. We talked about setup and how I like to push things and things to be in tip-top shape, and so I want things to move in a better direction. I want to take a step back and punt and refocus the collection. I want to refocus myself. I definitely have some goals in mind. We have some new projects we're going to launch very soon. So CA is just going to refocus is what it's going to do. It's going to take a breath. I pulled I jumped the gun when I posted the post that I know you guys have seen.
Definitely.
It was a stressful day. We all have things going on in our personal life, and it was just it was a heavy day. And so, what's heavy day? Heavy day. Heavy. And so CA is going to stay. CA is going to be around.
Fuck yeah, man.
Probably going to
Huge.
see me in St. Louis. I'm probably going to go out. I'll probably be there walking around.
Yeah.
We do Tinley every year. We'll be in Tinley. But CA is going to be around.
Dude, I am so excited, bro. This is epic, bro. Like, this is huge, man. There's nothing wrong. All you're doing is getting practical and real with yourself, which a lot of people don't even know how to do that. And that's why, you gotta understand. I posted something saying that I didn't get much sleep last night because I had so many different things in my mind of what you were gonna tell me why you were leaving this game completely. And I thought that's where we were at. And I was just like, well, I hope he doesn't get offended because I'm gonna have a lot of things of like, I'm gonna want to dig deep on, if you gave me an answer and I didn't feel like it was enough, I was gonna just keep asking. So that is epic, bro. I'm glad.
It's been a long road, and
hell yeah.
we have worked and took our hits and losses and our gains throughout the years, and it's paid off. It has. But I think CA in the future is going to be stronger and better than it's ever been before. I really do. Honestly believe.
Man, especially after this, because I mean, people don't, nobody wants to see you go. You gotta understand. There's a lot of new people coming into the hobby, right? But then you have your pillars, bro. Like, you have the ones that set the concrete down on the foundation, and you're one of those. You're by far one of those accounts. So losing you would just be like taking a piece of that concrete off the foundation. You know what I mean? And there's already stuff built on top of you, if that makes sense. I know little Novi was like super. She said that you've pretty much set her up for a great project with her ball pythons. We didn't get too much into it, but she was just like, there's multiple people out there that you've helped out and set up for success because how much they love these snakes, how much they love this hobby, how much they look up to you and other people in the game. So, man, yeah, not seeing your content anymore would definitely be like a piece is missing. So I'm glad that we don't have to worry about that. We're just, dude, you're creating more opportunities for other people. That's amazing.
Yeah, we're trying to. Like I said, my YouTube channel, you talked about content. We have really flipped on content. If you guys have noticed, Instagram is not being posted. YouTube, God, it's like pulling teeth to get a YouTube video out of me. And so that's part of all goes into downsizing. We're going to refocus, regroup. We've got some new projects we're going to launch, some new avenues we're going to explore. And like I said, CA is going to be stronger and better than it's ever been before.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Are there any projects you're just completely getting out of, or you just get letting go of some mass production that you have? Or is there anything you're telling us that you is there anything you could tell us that you're just kind of just washing your hands with that's going to be available?
Not right offhand. I've got maybe one or two animals left with spider in the collection, and they're leaving. That's about it. They're inchy spider, double head, genetic stripe clowns, and they're big girls. So I'm just gonna keep those for the moment. I'll probably breed them this season and then sell them. But for the most part, and that's a whole contradict. You can see how that contradicts itself with clown and G stripe, and then spider reducing that pattern. But it may come out different. But in my eyes, it's not going to be that great. So I think there is some opportunity there to be made. There's a lot of ground to be covered. I don't find myself over the last 3 years. I don't find myself on top of my game like I feel like I should be. And what I mean by that is I remember a time when I was breeding 3-month-old males. I'm not saying that that's the standard and that's what we need to do, but I find myself now not breeding males until they're 18 months old. So I'm getting, what I mean? I've got projects that are falling beside the waistline, falling to the side because of the size, workload, and everything.
Dude, I mean, this might be a wake-up call for a lot of you out there, even myself, man. I mean, he's done this for 15 years, and is this the first time you've had to stop yourself?
Nope. Nope. I mean, we try to take it one year at a time. Every year we try to reassess and see where the company is and see where it's at and how we can make it better. The last 3 years, it seems like we've just been running on a treadmill, just the same repetitive stuff. For us in general, we've brought new combos to the table. We've hatched new mutations. We've been in Tinley, but we like to move quickly, and we don't feel like we're doing that quickly enough. So we're going to try to take it up a notch, move forward, and get better and stronger. And the only way for us to do that is to focus on our main projects, the things that CA is known for, and take those to the next level.
Yeah, you're digging deep to what's passionate to you. Like you're sticking to what you really, really want to keep to hear versus like all the extra stuff, which nothing wrong with extra stuff until it's not becoming fun. We talk about this all the time, Daniel. Like if you're not having fun, then what the hell are you doing? It's like it's when it's time out. You know what I mean? Chill out. Like you're not. You know what I mean? Because obviously that kind of frustration, either you're having frustration elsewhere, which a lot of people like. Dude, life in general comes with frustration. So the last thing you should do is make your snakes or the hobby something that's frustrating you to where you almost don't even want to go to it. You know what I mean? That's your safe way. That's your. I make sure my snakes are something where if I'm having the shittiest day on earth, picking up snake shit is something that makes me so happy. Sounds as weird as it sounds, you right? But like, I just rather be in that room. I rather see what I've been building for the last almost 4 years and be appreciative of what I'm doing. Like, you know what I mean? I had a post the other day to just tell people, you should just sometimes remind yourself why you live the life that you live. You know what I mean? Right. And for instance, it's not hard for you to go find out why you have CA. You know what I mean? Look what you're doing. Look at the damn legendary animals you're producing. And just look at the work you've put in for the last 15 years. 15 years is a long time, bro. Especially when you've been doing it before. It's been so easy to get information like we've been talking about, because it's easy to get stuff thriving now because damn it, you have pages to groups to join, and there are people that will give you the time of day. This hobby is getting a lot more like user friendly, I guess you could say, and people are just easy to build relationships with, and not to mention all the YouTube content out there. Speaking of YouTube content, before I move forward, I do want to say make sure you go check out Daniel's YouTube channel, Constriction Addiction. I'm going to put his link in the description below. But yeah, that's obviously something we want to go support and make sure we're on top of, and make sure we're checking it out, because like we said, Daniel has very unique content, and you could tell it has his stamp on it. So super stoked for that, Daniel. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you definitely go follow that channel, subscribe to it. We're going to put a lot of new content out. It's going to be great. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's going to bring something new to the table, something we haven't seen. So it's going to be great.
Sick. Let's talk about shows real quick. I know you were talking about St. Louis show and Tinley. St. Louis show is in September. Is that right?
It is.
Sweet. I think I'm going to that, man. I think I'll be able to finally meet you, bro. Which is another reason why I'm super stoked, because I've been wanting to meet you for a while. And I'm going to be making it to shows once, I guess shows are happening, fingers crossed. So, Missouri, man, St. Louis. I'm there, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. Like I said, we'll be there walking around. I'll be in Tinley. We'll see if I'm vending or not. If not, there will be a CA booth there regardless in Tinley Park, whether it's just merchandise or whether I bring animals. Like I said, we're switching gears big time, and it's going to be it's going to bring a new light to CA.
I'm going to go ahead and just put this out there, because Will wants to know if you're letting go of any DG stuff, and if you are, to shoot him a text.
I bet he is. No, I'm keeping most of my stuff. I've got some like triple het, hypo puzzle DG stuff that's on the shelf. Most of my DG stuff I'm definitely going to stick with. That project's just too hot to let go of.
Did he just text you? I heard a phone just go off. Was that your Will, are you really doing this? Let the guy do his interview. Jeez, bro. Oh
Oh,
shoot.
yeah.
How do you, you've obviously gotten to meet Will before, right? Because he's
Oh
pretty
yeah, great guy.
definitely a
Great
good guy.
Yep.
Another person that you should go follow if you're not. But future's bright because of people like Will as well. So DG stuff, I want to bring it up too because I love Desert Ghost. What are some Desert Ghost combos you're working with right now, Daniel?
Well, I was shooting for the OD Leopard Pin DG pod this year. And I don't think I'm going to get it. We'll see. She's kind of
Okay.
stalled on me. I'm waiting on that one. It's getting late summer, so sometimes it's hard to push them this time of year. But I was doing that. Hopefully some DG Clown stuff. My triple het puzzle DG stuff is almost ready, hopefully by winter. But those are the mainstream projects. Also, I've got some other stuff on the shelf, we're working with. It's just, 600-800 grams should be ready, not this fall, but next fall. So we're definitely pushing it. We're pushing the envelope, trying to anyways. Like I said, that's the whole point of this downsizing is to focus on the projects that matter.
Let me get this real quick because I have a question. Actually, hold on. Let me cancel that. I'm going to talk about your pied stuff real quick, if you don't mind, because I know you work with pied. You create some really amazing pieds. How deep are you with the pieds? I mean, those aren't leaving you, obviously, right? You're sticking with pieds.
I'm very deep with pods. I actually keep them. I'm actually gonna keep those pods and try to move. I don't need as many pods as I have. Let me put it that way. Okay.
So you're pied heavy.
Oh, I'm super heavy on pods.
All right, we'll talk. I'm pied light, so we need to talk.
Okay. I just sold 5 this morning, so
damn,
yeah,
not like hotcakes.
Yeah, I sold 5 adults this morning. They're like I said, I need to.
You didn't sell this one, did you?
I did sell that one.
Oh wow, bro, this is fire.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I was a huge fan of the snake. Not even joking.
Yes. Sold that one. I sold. I actually sent my last hypo pod to the last hypo pod from last year. I just sent it to Earl down in Texas at Lone Star. I just sent him a big box of animals.
Okay.
So, like I said, we're just trying to take a step back and punt and regroup and start heading down a better direction. Sometimes you just got to cut. Sometimes you got to take a step back before you can go forward. That makes sense. Yeah.
It's just like I said, man, you're understanding that you're hitting the timeout button. You're actually regrouping, which, I mean, if you weren't really a professional, if you really didn't have your shit in order, you wouldn't be regrouping right now. You're regrouping for a reason. You know what I mean? So it's good that that's happening, and that obviously you're going to create a new wave for yourself, which I'm super excited to see. I mean, I'm curious. Is there any new combos you're going to start working with, or what's going on?
I've got some new stuff. There's always new projects, man. The potential is through the roof in this industry right now. The amount of combos that we have, none of us will see in our grandkids' lifetime. I mean, when you start doing the possibilities and the math in your head with the outcome, and all of us together could not possibly hit every combo that's out there. There's new stuff coming on the market, and I think that I think everyone has their place in the market. With every mutation that's out there,
I agree.
We all have our place. But like I said, there's new stuff. There's new stuff coming out every year. We see a new mutation, and that just opens that many more possibilities. So it's
give me one or two. Give me one or two of the new stuff, Daniel. Give us something. Give us an example more. Yeah, that you're. Yep.
Let's see here. Recently, Sunset and Exantix. I bucked Exantix for years. Years I bucked Exantix. Did not want it. Didn't like it. Didn't care for it. And I brought in some Exantix clowns last year. At the end of last year, I brought those in. And doing some stuff with those. I'm really excited about the future of those projects. But you know how it is, man. You make these hats, you put them on the shelf, and then you forget about them. It's a while before you see the fruits of your labor. You know what I mean? It takes a long time to do this, but I did bring a Sunset in. I have a special project for it, and also, like I said, I brought in Exantix. That's I know that's not well, Exantix clowns are very pricey now, but at the time, when Exantix were, I remember a time when Exantix were $150. I remember going to Raleigh Helo Production Show, and they were on the table for $150, and nobody wanted them. Nobody would look at them, and now, man, looking back, I wish I would have bought them. You know what I mean? I wish I would have bought.
Wait, how long ago was this? How long ago was this when they were 150?
You're talking 2000, probably 2013, 2014. Yeah.
These weren't hets. These are Exantix. You're straight Exantix. Yeah. Damn, bro.
Visuals on the table. Visual males on the table for $150. Yes, sir.
But those weren't the only ones getting slept on. There was some other morphs out there that nobody just even wanted to mess with, right?
Inchy.
Yeah.
Inchy was another one. Let's see here. Man, there's tons and tons of morphs out there that people slept on, and I think everyone's starting to see the potential. It's like Ozzy said, if it's genetic, it's got potential. You just have to figure out what makes it work, what makes it tick, and what makes it explode.
Yeah, and it's also something where, even if you have something that's not popping and so popular, like if that's something that your heart wants, you should go for that, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely. 1000%.
Because how many even morphs even made a name for themselves that weren't shit in the beginning? Like what, Red Stripe? Nobody remember Red Stripe? How all of a sudden that shit became popping and went from being $100 snake to a $300 snake and all this other crazy stuff. That's what this game. It's honestly like hitting the jackpot almost. Like it's kind of weird. It's crazy how this could go. You know what I mean? And if you have longevity in your mind, you could fulfill all these these type of experiences, you know what I mean? Because how many different things have you gone through, like roller coasters type of, feelings with clutches, thinking you're, having a clutch, not really having good odds. And all of a sudden on a clutch, you didn't really think you're going to get anything on it. It was like something groundbreaking. Like, it's like, you almost just really don't never know. Right. Like, have you had any clutches like that? That was just like, that literally you'll take to your grave. Like you'll never forget that clutch.
Oh yeah. You have them all. I've bred head to head with 10 eggs and got one or no clowns. I've missed with no clowns. I'm sorry. Let me reverse that. I've bred head to head with 10 eggs and had 9 visuals out of the clutch, and then bred visuals to head and have 10 or 12 eggs and not have anything in the clutch. It's it's crazy. And then sometimes you get those split sire clutches where you get the best possible outcome out of both males in the clutch, and it's the right sex ratio, and then you go the next 3 clutches and you just get bombed on it. It is definitely a game. It is a game. And you just got to hope that the odds gods are with you, and you learn some tricks over time. You will, over time. There's things out there to help. Not necessarily help the genetic outcome, but help more solid fertile production, or we always hear about males dropping off in fertility. There's all kinds of different things out there that little tips and tricks that you can do to help.
I've not been in this game nearly as much as long as you have, Daniel, but I can tell you right now, the best trick that I've learned so far is fucking patience. if you can learn that trick, if you can learn patience and just fucking just leave it alone, just let it be. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people just want results. And it goes to like, I even talked to some people who like they want to get into a species and they want to buy adults and they want to know when they could breed. And I'm like, dude, you're already in the wrong fucking mindset right now. Like you're not like, you know what I mean? Like, and it, you know, I don't want to keep bringing up chondros, but it's with chondros a lot. Like a lot of ball python guys, or not, you know, not a lot, but there's ball python people who come and want to get into chondros and they don't want, they find out how long it takes from a neonate to become a baby to breeding size. And they asked me, how long does it take? I'm like, dude, I don't breed. My first female was at least 5 to 6 years old before I even paired her up. And then they're like, okay, well, what can I get a sub adult, or, you know, can I get a dom? I'm like, well, first off, good luck trying to find one of those if it's not an import. Right. And then they're like, well, you know, they get into wanting to get imports, which, I mean, I don't know if you fucked with imports, but that's a whole fucking crazy department. Yeah. It's crazy. If you don't know what you're doing in that could literally get you out of the hobby. You will literally you'll see some shit in that where you'll be like, fuck this. I'm going to go collect rocks. I'm going to go or be a goldfish guy. I'm done with this. I'm telling you. So I always try to tell people, look, teach their own at the end of the day, but less is more. Start from the basics and then get yourself to that level. But you know, hey, listen, people, they want results, bro. Results. They want to know. They look at you and they want to be you, which I wanted to be you, but that was what, 2017, and I wasn't trying to fucking be you the next day. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't trying to be a JKR the next day. I wasn't trying to be, you know, these people I look up to, and I've literally followed their outfit and everything of what they've been doing. I never expected to become these people overnight. Like I'm not even close to these people, and it's been 3 years or going on 4 years. So, but it's like, it's the process. It's literally the process and just being patient. And that the reason why I said that the number one tool I've met, you know, I've learned some different tools too, but the tool I use the most is patience. You know what I mean? Patience.
Patience is a big thing in this game, and it takes so long to. I mean, I've always said it. If you can make it in the reptile business, you can make it in any business. This is a tough.
Sure, I agree. 100%. 100%. Because listen, your work shows in the animals, right? You could see some people that are just, you know, obviously they just don't really give a shit, and you can see it through their pictures sometimes. And I'm just like, dude, I was like, why even post this shit? You know, but that's because how I keep my level of where I see my shit. But it's like, I have to remind myself back when I first had my ball python, like let's just say when I was an adult and I had ball pythons, I kept them in an aquarium. They were in a glass tank. I ended up keeping 2 in one aquarium. So I was also that guy at some point, just because, you know, I didn't know better, but obviously I learned from what I was watching, right? I mean, I'm just saying there's a lot of things out there that are proven to show that your snake will thrive in it if you just follow what works. And I just, you know, like I was going back to telling, you know, how I was trying to convince someone how they shouldn't start with an adult chondro. They should start with a neonate. And then what happens the next day? They send me a picture of the adult chondro that showed up at their doorstep. And I'm like, all right, good luck. Don't fucking ask me for help. I'm dead ass serious, which they will. They always do. So it is what it is.
So what's new on your end?
Man, honestly, dude, I've been kind of, I'm glad you asked that, because I do want to kind of bring up a topic that I've been talking to other breeders about. I seem like, you know, I had a conversation with Justin a few episodes, you know, like 6 episodes ago about, you know, how do you know when your female's not going to go? Like, how do you know, like, all right, just, you know, stop pairing, just wash your hands, wait for next year type of thing. Right. And he basically told me, if there's no signs, if you get to the point where they laid that time last year and you don't see no ovulations or anything like that, then just it's nothing's more like, or just, he just said it's not going to happen. Stop pairing. It's done. And I was like,
yeah, I agree with that to a point. Okay. If you're looking at, if you're using an ultrasound, are you using ultrasound?
No, I just go off what I see. So, I mean, I usually catch my ovulations, but I mean, I haven't caught all of them. I'll tell you that much. Like there's 2 snakes that laid this year where I just knew that they were off food. They shed. So I knew that the eggs were coming, but I didn't see their ovulation. So let me finish. So this snake that I was talking about, that in January of 2019, she laid her clutch, right? She obviously, this conversation with Justin was in March or April. And he's like, yeah, nothing's going to happen with that female. Okay, she laid in June. She laid in June, and I thought that was
an ultrasound. You need to be in tune with your animals. And what I mean by in tune with your animals is you need to, one, recognize hormonal glow in a female.
right.
You need to know how to palpate. Now, people ask me about a late season. People say late seasons. A lot of things can be attributed to late season. It could be stalls. It could be what causes stall. It could be food intake. Could be male copulation. The whole point of a female's reproduction is that female, when she goes to, first of all, you've got to stimulate her into building follicles. And then when she goes into building follicles, you got to think about what is hard to visualize, but you've got to think about what that snake is thinking about. She's thinking about survival, right? Reproduction, survival of her species. So she's got to check off her checklist. She's got to have water, okay? So if there's a drought and there's no water, she's very likely going to reabsorb those follicles. If a snake runs out of water while it's got follicles, it will reabsorb them extremely fast. Okay, that's the quickest way to get a female to reabsorb is to let her run out of water. Okay,
your snake should not be running out of water. Sorry.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just running through the
people in the back.
I'm just running through the checklist. The other thing is food intake. Okay, she wants to make sure that she's got enough food intake to produce viable, healthy eggs, and also for herself to be able to survive. If there's not enough food there, if she doesn't have adequate body weight, she will stall. Okay, so in other words, if she doesn't have enough body weight, she can build those follicles up to a certain point. If she doesn't have enough body weight to where she feels like she can successfully reproduce those eggs and still survive on her own, she will not do that. She's not going to risk her life. It sounds crazy, but have you ever seen how weak a female ball python is after she comes off of eggs?
Yeah, it's not good.
Not weak that first, second day. Let her go a couple weeks without a meal, and then that's when she starts getting weak. Okay, her immune system is weak. That's when, with a dirty cage, then you'll start to see respiratory problems come in, things of that sort. So what you want to do, that's why we try to get them clean and back on food and get them back feeding so they're as healthy as possible. And not only so they're recovering from egg laying, but they're also getting ready for the next season. They're not sitting on those extra 60 days.
Heavy knowledge right there. That was heavy. Now, Daniel, hold up, but that doesn't answer why didn't I know my snake.
It could have been food intake. It did answer it. You just didn't think about it. It could be food intake. It could have been that she didn't have enough food up until that point. Okay,
but she's been off food for so long. Like, she was doing all the right things to where she should have laid in January. She was off in.
What was her feeding cycle up to January? You're telling me she didn't eat from January to July?
She ate. So she picked up on. So she laid in January. She picked up on food like not even 2 weeks after that, and she's right back on schedule. Like 2 mediums a week, bro. Like, just she's a big girl, just mashing. So. She never missed a meal. She ate all the time. And then she went off. I think it was December is when she went off. No, November, like end November, December, which matched up to the numbers of the year before. So I was like, well, shit's on schedule. And then January came and I was like, I haven't seen no ovulation. She looked big. She was glowing, all this shit. I was like, well, she's giving me all the signs. So,
okay. And then she didn't lay until when?
June 16th or something like that. It was literally almost.
Yeah. So I don't ever go by lay dates. I know some people say they lay every year like clockwork on a layaway. I mean, I write them down. I document them. I do. But you would be surprised at how much they actually change. Okay. Now, they say follicle development grows at 2 millimeters a week. Now, she's going to cut off food right around 30, 32 millimeters. She's not going to ovulate to 45. You're not far off there at laying in July. By the time you go through pre-ovulation, ovulation, post-ovulation, and then she sheds, lays, you're not that far off. You're 45 days previous to shed, then her development at 2 millimeters a week, you're not that far off, buddy. You're really not. You're going off of that lay day in January, and it changes from. It will change on you. It will.
Okay, so you're right.
It's
no.
I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. No, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard that their females lay a month later every year? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I've had that. I have that. Yeah.
Okay. Same principle. It's just recovery, food intake. I've had that same situation. What happens is a lot of times their normal cycle may have her laying in June, but if she skipped the year previous, okay, if she skipped the year previous and she did not lay,
she did.
She did lay.
She laid. She skipped the year before that.
Exactly.
She skipped the year before the year she laid. She missed that because dude, wow, that's nuts. That's why it's all movement. It's all like, okay, oh wow.
So if I buy a female in say July and I move her from buy her from you and move her from your part of the country to my part of the country, it's gonna a lot of times it will automatically throw that female into follicle development. Okay, so you go ahead and breed her, bam, boom, she's laying in January. Okay, so what happens is once she acclimates to your facility, she will go back to her normal lay schedule, whatever that is, and that's the one she'll stay on relatively closely or within a month apart for the next 5 years until she takes the next year off. Does that make sense?
No, it does now. Now that makes total sense. The mistake is going off the lay date. Don't go off the lay date because I mean, a lot of things it's more than just that. A lot of things come into play, which, dude, that's fucking mind up. Why didn't Justin tell me that, huh? I'm just kidding. That's my boy. That's actually a really good episode too. So if you guys want to check out that episode with JKR, link in the description below. I got to pick his brain for quite a while. And you met Justin quite a bit, obviously. How long have you known Justin for?
13 years. Long time.
Long time. Yeah. Let's talk about 13 years ago with JKR. What was that like? How did you meet Justin? How'd you guys link up?
Oh man. Honestly, well, the first time I ever met Justin was 2007 Daytona Reptile Show. It was the last time Ralph was down there. It was the last time Nerd was down there. And I walked up, and Justin I'm walking around the show, really didn't know much. You know, I knew pastels, like I knew the morphs, and there wasn't that many out back then. You got to think, this is 2007. All right. And everybody's there, you know, there's money being thrown everywhere. Right? Like I've been to one Repticon show. At this time, I'd been to one Repticon show in July, and then I found myself in Daytona in August. That's how quickly I moved. And so I went down there. Everybody's selling. Ralph's selling. Kevin's selling. You know, Tracy's selling. Barcheck's selling. Everybody's selling. Okay. Wow. And I go around this corner, and there's Justin. Right. He's got like 5 animals on the table. He's got a beautiful lavender albino, a tall display, and I'm like, what's for sale? You know, I couldn't have afforded anything back then, you know, what he had on his table. And he looks at me and he says, shows are for display and not for selling. Shows are for marketing. And I'll just mind blowing. You know what I mean? I'm like, this guy's lost his mind.
He straight stiff-armed you, bro.
I was young, man. I was young. I had no idea. And I thought about that all the way home. I just thought, man, like this guy's missing. I'm thinking about the money he's missing at the show. You know, I'm not thinking about the marketing aspect of it. So he threw me for a loop, and I thought about that. So it was about 6 or 8 months. It's probably a year later, I guess. So I started going to my Repticon shows and stuff. And I was going to Atlanta for the first time. I'd never been there. And I called him up and I said, Justin, you know, how far are you from, you know, the Atlanta Repticon show? Do you go down there? And he said, no, I don't go down there. And at the time I thought, this is strange. This guy doesn't go to shows. When he does go to shows, he doesn't sell anything. I'm thinking, this is strange. You know what I mean? So we went down. He took me out. We went out to this little burger restaurant there. And, he just opened my mind on a lot of different projects and a lot of different things. And we went 2 different directions. And, honestly, with him being the giant in the industry right now, I can't say that I shouldn't have took some of his advice. Honestly, I wish I would have listened a lot more to things he had to say. But, we all make mistakes and we all live and learn. But in the end of the day, my hat's off to him. He's done an incredible job with this industry. He's revolutionized this industry. His marketing is superb, and it's paid off for him. It really has.
You yourself have nothing to be sorry for whatsoever as far as what you got going on, bro. Because, man, I'm saying you shout out to Justin. Don't get me wrong, Justin's the shit, but you obviously have some stuff that you've learned and gained. Like, you've obviously done your homework throughout the last 15 years. You've obviously looked up to people that were right in the right direction who are still here. Justin being one of them. Who's another person? Let's talk about somebody else that kind of inspired you 13 years ago, or, even if it's somebody who's not even in ball pythons, if it could just be somebody who got you to where you're at right now or helped you get there.
Eugene Bissett.
Heavy, bro.
Eugene Bissett, one of my very first ball pythons ever bought from him. And I remember the phone conversation like it was yesterday. And he told me a few things. And he said, one of the points that he gave me is don't quit. Don't quit. No matter how much, no matter how tough it gets, the second you get out is the second you lose. Do not quit. Every year, you're only one clutch away from making it big. You're only one clutch away from hitting that jackpot or that new combo or that mind-blowing morph. Don't quit. The moment you quit, everything you did is for nothing.
Did that recently go through your mind? It did?
Yes, it did.
Impactful.
Impactful.
I'm glad it did. It's because of people like that. And I'm sure, bro, you've had words to share with somebody who they'll never forget what you told them. You know what I mean? That's what you need to never forget in your heart. The words that kept you going, the words that just kept you pushing. Obviously we know this wasn't Daniel's first time doubting or getting in a situation. I'm sure this hobby, you're going to go through that. I don't know how many times. I don't know how many times I fucking I downgraded at least twice, I think, in this 4 years where I got into species where I was like, I'm not having fun with this. You know what I mean? And that's because I jumped into it, didn't take my time, and it really caused a fucking damper on everything else I was working with. And it's fine. Just reset. You don't have to fucking be doing everything at once. But that's this excitement that comes with this hobby, bro. You just it's so easy to get into something new because shit's everywhere on the internet, bro. And it's so easy to get. It's a click away. Comes to your doorstep, FedEx, ship your reptiles.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. I was literally, I'll never forget when I got into chondros, I went to kingsnakes.com, and that's when I found king snakes. And I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? That's when I was finding stuff that wasn't being posted on Facebook, stuff that wasn't being posted on Instagram. And it's just that easy to start getting shit. You know what I mean? It's not really hard, right? So it's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to get caught up into something that it just can make things not fun. But it looks like we're on our way to start having fun. I mean, this is going to be amazing to see what happens, Daniel. My other question to you, Daniel, is what was the last time you kind of thought deeply about what your next move wants to be? Because you said you're going to be doing a show, or you're going to be presenting. I'm sorry, you're going to have a stand at Tinley, and it might just be either merch or it just might be reptiles. Is that correct? You're not too sure, but it's going to be something. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, he's going to be around. Yeah, we've got a new project we're going to launch here soon, hopefully in the next couple of months. As far as thinking about my next big move, every day. This morning, last time I thought about it this morning, 5 minutes before we went on the podcast. I'm always looking for new things. I'm always trying to move forward, and I'm always trying to make things better. So getting overwhelmed and distracted is a terrible thing, but we're definitely trying to move forward and make things better.
And is the snakes something you do full time, or is there anything you do to drive the snakes? Like what is it that you do day to day or is it just completely just all wrapped around the snake?
Well, recently it's been mostly the snakes. Like I said, it's been a lot, really overwhelming. It's been a handful to keep up with everything. We've got the rodent building. We've got the snake facility. It's tough, man. It's tough. It's a lot of work, and man, I'm telling you, when I moved a lot of animals this week, a lot of animals, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it felt amazing. It felt like the world off my shoulders, and I am so excited to see where CA goes in the new direction that we're going to take it. It's going to be amazing.
How many animals did you let go of?
Oh, this week, probably off the top of my head, probably close to 75.
So 75. And that was just this week.
Adults, and since Monday. What's today? Thursday. So the last 3 days, 75 adults. Adults.
Shit. And these are all from your morph market, is that right? Or are these like just kind of deals you're making with people aside of morph market? Or where are these snakes being sold at?
Both morph market and private deals. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if people do want to try to do something other than what's on morph market, what's the best way to reach out to you? What do you recommend for that?
Any social media platform. Well, I mean, obviously text is going to be the fastest. I get those quickest, but I will have, any social media platform, personal page, Constriction Addiction Facebook page, Instagram, any of that stuff. You can definitely look us up on, and YouTube as well. Like I said, we're going to be launching that pretty soon.
There you go. Awesome. I do have another question for you, Daniel. One of the biggest questions also was obviously earlier, why are you leaving? You're not leaving. That's a big check, right? There's other question. The reason why I'm going to ask it, because a lot of people came to me with it and I wasn't too sure. Obviously we do have a pretty shitty year, 2020. We've been losing people. RIP Forrest Fanning. Did you know Forrest?
I did know Forrest very well. I'll tell you a story real quick about Forrest.
Tell me, please.
Me and Forrest, I went down to Columbia, South Carolina. It was one of my very first reptile shows that I ever vended. And I remember him and Desi down there. They were just selling rodents. They were driving a little white Toyota Prius. And this was probably, this was probably 2012. I believe it was. And he come up and actually, I'm reading your comments here. He come up and actually bought some animals from me, talked to me about rodents. Right. And we went to dinner that night and was friends ever since, man. It's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy year.
Yeah, we even lost somebody in the chondro community as well, Justin Wilbanks, which was a really big damper. And then obviously, people have lost close friends. They've lost family members with like what's going on. And maybe this is why this question came up, but people want to know if you're healthy. Are you good? Is there anything? Maybe that probably they're asking because you wanted to get out of the game. And that's one they were really concerned if that was an issue, but are you all good? Is everything good? Your health wise, or everything, just to give those people the peace of mind out there.
Yeah, I'm healthy. I'm definitely healthy moving forward. To be honest with you, man, it was it was a rough deal. It's just a lot's been going on here the last couple of months. Obviously, I can't really talk about the situation at this moment, but in due time. Like I said, it's definitely it's been a long 2020. I'll tell you that. It's been a rough road. I'm healthy. The family's healthy. Everybody's fine.
Okay.
I really don't know how to explain it, but maybe one day I can. Maybe down the road we'll be able to explain things and and everyone will understand at that point what transpired. But I can tell you, it's been a heavy year. It's been tough. Everything is well and on the up and up. But everything happens for a reason. I truly do believe that.
100%. 100%.
Good things happen to good people.
100%. That's at the end of the day, man. That's just how it rolls, man. I believe in that 100%. You know, if your heart's in the right place, you know what you want to do. Your cards will fold out the way they should be. But what's more important, and I want you to understand, is how much people support you, how much people care for you. You know, because I didn't want to ask you. That's a personal question, but so many people ask me about your well-being, and that's because they care a lot about you. And you clarify. Yeah, you know what I mean? You feel me, bro? So I mean, you are huge, like I said. I mean, I don't want to keep talking about the foundation piece, but you know what I mean? You are a big importance to the hobby, bro. This is what, especially ball pythons consider. You know, we're talking about ball pythons here. My channel is mostly ball python viewers. You know what I mean? So, hey, by the way, we've had the most viewers. It dropped down to 140, but we were at like 170 at one point. I've never had that many viewers. You just outsmashed every guest, and I've had some heavy guests on this damn channel, bro. But you are by far the most viewed guest so far on this podcast, so I appreciate you on that. But that goes to show you how many people care, how many people want to know if CA is obviously in the building still, and he is. He's not going anywhere, and everything's good. His family's good, you know. Go ahead.
CA's not going anywhere. We're here. Everything's good. It was like I said, in due time, everything will be able to be explained, and it's a doozy. It's a doozy. Like I said,
Life is a doozy, isn't it?
It is. It is. Good things happen to good people, and you know, everything happens for a reason. So I do believe CA is on a better path, and I do believe that we will be around and stronger than ever. It's and everything will be explained in due time. I really do believe that.
The biggest thing explained tonight was you're staying. That is probably the biggest thing that people wanted to hear or wanted an explanation, which we didn't have to talk too much about because you're fucking here. You're not going anywhere. He's here. And that's like, I'm telling you, bro, I don't have to even think about what I was going to have to hear about why you were leaving the game completely, but you're not, you know, which is, I'm telling you, man, that's huge. That you made a lot of people's night tonight. And I hope you understand that, because that's super inspiring. Because as hard as people get knocked down in this hobby, which we know a lot of people get knocked down hard, you know, it can be easy to pull the plug sometimes. And you know, fucking humans, you know, dude, you have you have feelings, right? So I'm sure that post that you posted about you calling it quits was just pure. That was coming from your heart and probably what you thought at that moment in time. And trust me, that fucking kind of broke the internet. That shook everybody, bro. I remember a lot of people were talking about that. And then, you know, nobody really heard anything else about that to this point. Now we're here at this point, and you know what I mean? That you're here to stay, which is amazing. I want to ask, other than ball pythons, what else are you ever looking to get into, or what else do you still work with other than ball pythons?
I don't know. You know, I'd like to get my green trees back one day.
Dude, okay, well, let's talk about that real quick. You said you started with green trees.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
Wow. I think
I was a multi-species guy. I had Asian blue beauties. I had bull snakes. I had bearded dragons, leopard geckos, corn snakes, rattlesnakes, baboon vipers, eyelash vipers, Sri Lankan tree vipers. I had everything. I mean, I was into all of it. I had retics, burns. I wanted it all. And I just one day I just got, you know, started to think about what I was going to be doing the rest of my life, and the things, you know, I thought, how cool would it be to be able to get up and do something every day that I love to do. And so I have a habit of taking things and taking them to an extreme. And so I took the snake thing and I turned it into a business. And and it, I pushed it as far as I could, and we're still pushing it, and I really look forward to the future of CA. I think it's going to be, like I said before, I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a good time.
I have to ask you, what were the localities you were working with? What were the interest of chondros that you were keeping back then?
Oh, I had Marukis. I had,
Wow.
yeah, I had an animal from Mr. Blue. I had Beox, Arus. Yeah.
Did you breed them? Did you breed them or no?
I got one clutch. Yep. I had one canary, and canaries were expensive back then.
They're not even around anymore. You can't even get them anymore.
I know. I bought it from Rico, and
wow.
Yeah. We spent yeah.
K at least or something. You don't have to tell us, but it's a lot. That snake is not. I mean, right now, nowadays, that snake is no more. If you were to find that snake, if you can, imported, it's not going to be anything less than 20K. I'll tell you that much. Those are the yellow canaries are super, super rare.
Yeah, absolutely.
You knew Rico?
Oh yeah, Maxwell too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about Rico Wilder was legend. If you guys need to understand how legend Rico Wilder is, if you don't understand, make sure you go follow Unfiltered Reptiles podcast. But Rico Wilder, that was Forrest's best friend. That was not his best friend, but that was his one of his number one mentors. I don't think anyone was as godly as Rico Wilder was to Forrest Fanning. If you didn't know that, but what kind of relationship did you have with Rico?
It wasn't a close. We spoke. Like I said, I got out and got into ball pythons not long after I had met Rico and Maxwell. Do you remember when the Chondro Coalition used to be in Daytona? They used to have like their own room.
Yes. I've heard about that. That was what, 2015?
No, this was when Daytona was in the big building before they were in the building that they're in now.
So what was that, 2012 or like 20? How long ago was that?
This was the same year Justin was there. This was 12. No.
Shit.
I would say probably 2012, 2011. Yeah.
I've heard about that room though, but go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So that's when I met Rico and Maxwell. This was when Dan Wolf was still around. You remember Dan Wolf? That was before your time.
I haven't been in this for too long, but the reason why I know these names is because Forrest, I've had hour-long conversations with Forrest night after night, and he would always just talk about these people, and he'd always talk about Daytona and all this stuff. So Dan Wolf is somebody of a familiar in my mind. But go ahead. Yeah, Dan Wolf. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but no, I knew them then. Maxwell was just coming out with the first calico. I think he was working on the calico line. There wasn't very many animals. But what was amazing was, I'll tell you, the time that I got out was when the albino was brought in. When the albino was brought in, that's the point when I think a possible het was like 16 grand. And I was like, I can't. It's going to be, knowing how chondros grow, it's going to be years before we would get 5% hets down, a lot less affordable. And so, like I said, the ball pythons were exploding. You glass half full, glass half empty. You walk into one show, this guy, the bubble's already burst, you're too late. And then you walk in on the other side and you see this other guy who's killing it, is full of passion, has an outlook, and has, vision down the road. So that's another thing, it's all about the people you surround yourself with and mindset. And a lot of that goes into this game. It really does.
You know who's working with the albino still, though, right?
I don't. I haven't kept up with it in a while, but I'm getting ready to find out.
Marshall Mendez.
Is he really?
Yeah, Marshall Mendez. He's
me and Marshall have been doing some Ultra Bell stuff together. I purchased some stuff from him. He got some stuff from me, a little trading, this and that. So
he talks about it he talks about in the episode we had about 2 months ago. And he showed some off, like he doesn't have albinos, but he has he has snakes that have the genetic in it basically. And he has, I think, one albino, I think, if I can't remember. But Marshall is working with it, which is crazy. Which is crazy. You're talking about when it first came in. You know what I mean? Like that's. I mean,
yeah.
Daniel, what age were you when you first came in? At 20, you said 2013 is when you first started breeding snakes. That was your first, or no, 15 years ago. I'm sorry. So this is your first breeding snake. First year breeding snakes was what year?
Well, I was breeding colubrids in the beginning. I bought snakes in 07, so 08 was my first season. I think in my first year of ball pythons was 09.
And how old were you then?
That was when you remember Adam Wysocki?
I don't.
Ball pythons? That's when he was around, yeah.
I heard of 8-ball. But what age were you back then?
Oh, dude, I was young. I was, probably 19 years old, 20 years old.
You're 85. You're 80, around 85, right? What year? Because I'm 85. What year were you born?
86.
86. Okay.
Yeah.
So damn, that's you came in at an age where you could have been doing anything in life, and you were fucking with snakes.
Yeah, I was actually drag racing.
Wow.
I grew up at the drag strip. Raced probably until I was 19. As a matter of fact, it was 2008 when everything fell out. The economy fell out. 2008, and we bought everything, and that's when me and Britt started messing with snakes a little bit, and it just kind of grew into what it is today. So
that's sick. Now, did you ever go professional or anything? Because I raced motocross throughout my whole childhood, and it was something I wanted to carry, but then obviously I just, reality sunk in when I got at a certain age. But did you ever get to a level where you were pro or anything like that?
I mean, I run IHRA, NHRA, but I did motocross too. I had a bad wreck racing motocross.
Wow.
Right before I got in the dragster. As a matter of fact, I had a bad wreck. I bought a new bike. I went back out for like 2 more months, and about had another bad wreck. And my dad looked at me. He said, "You ready to go drag racing?" Everything was still sitting here. I said, "Absolutely." So 6 months later, it was on in. So
the dirt hurts, bro. Hitting that dirt hurts. Oh man,
what are you talking about? That is painful. That is painful.
I've broken over 13 bones in my motocross career, bro. And I put I think my mom left my dad twice because she just was like, he's done. And that as soon as I was healed, I'm racing again, just because I lived for that shit. When racing's in your blood, you fucking live for that shit, period. So you found an outlet. Your dad hooked you up and got you into fucking drag racing, which was I wish I had that.
Well, that's what my family did for 30 years. My grandpa, I was 3rd generation driver.
Oh, so he was waiting for you.
Oh yeah. I was raised at the drag strip, literally at the drag strip. I was raised. My dad loaded the trailer up. My mom was in labor, and he had to load the trailer up to get to the hospital. He was out in Fayetteville. But the point is, we had. You're talking about bones and how they hurt. I broke 9 bones on impact. And I had, if anybody's ever seen me.
Oh my God, 9 bones at once? Fuck that.
Yes, 9 bones on impact when I hit the ground, 9 bones at once. If anybody's ever seen me, they've seen that big giant scar that runs up my left arm. And then I have another one right here on this side. That's why this is all tattoos now. I covered up that scar from when I had that motorcycle wreck. It was a huge, nasty scar. Huge.
That's a sick ass sleeve, by the way. I fuck with that sleeve. Shit's hard.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But that's what all that was about, was just covering up those scars from that motorcycle wreck. They were pretty gnarly scars.
I think the worst bone I broke out of everything was my tailbone. I broke the tip of my tailbone because I fell sitting down 30 feet in the air. It was terrible. I remember literally feeling like I threw up my intestines, but I didn't. It just felt like that, and it was terrible, man. But I think that was one of my last crashes. I'll tell you that. That was one where it took me so long to heal. By that time, there was some stuff going on in life where things weren't good, and my dad sold the bike, and I was just like, well, I kind of don't ever want to feel like that again. It was, and that was literally bone number 13. No, I broke other bones after that doing random shit, but that was like the accident where it just made me kind of just like, you know, sit back and like maybe concentrate on baseball. You know what I mean? Maybe you should concentrate on like stuff. You're good at other sports that doesn't take you having to fucking be in the hospital. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, from I think one of my first worst accidents, I got this finger torn off right here. My index, this ring finger got torn off my hand, and I was like 8 years old, and led up to all the other accidents to my tailbone. So I feel you on like, you know, just washing your hands with the fucking dirt bikes, bro. It's too much.
It didn't take long. I mean, it didn't take long. I mean, you get hurt a couple good times. You get hurt one good time, you really start thinking about things. I mean, it don't take long.
I just like, honestly though, bro, like, you know, my dad raced motocross. He raced, you know, he did supercross for like 8 years and shit. So I've just, you know, going to races. Like, did you ever go to motocross or supercross events? Did you ever go see fucking like Jeremy McGrath or Ricky Carmichael and shit? Like, I admire those guys, bro. Like, those were like they were like my idols, you know.
Yeah.
I wanted to be those guys so bad, and that's why I wanted to ride so much. You know, I used to just love the way my VP fuel smelled coming out of my bike. Like, I just loved everything, how it smelled. And to this day, my dad has my old gear, and you look at my helmet, there's dried blood in the mouthpiece and shit. It's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna fucking just hang this up.
Yep. I kept my jersey from my big wreck. My helmet, the whole face mask was ripped off my helmet. It was done. It was done.
Bro, imagine how many people do that shit without a helmet. Just riding bikes with no helmet, or they ride. Oh man, that's the other thing that kind of I don't really like about social media, is like the videos you come across. You'll come across some fucked up videos where you'll see some people that are on bikes and shit, and they'll crash really, really bad. And it's like, well, it's just more of a confirmation that I'm never gonna fucking get on a bike again. I don't know. Just don't want to go through that ever again, bro.
I know.
Plain and simple. Well, hey, Daniel, this has been an amazing hour and a half, bro. I appreciate your time, bro. This is it's been something so groundbreaking, bro. I'll tell you that right now. Like I said, I can't get over how excited I am for you, how excited everyone else is for you. I've been looking at the comments, and people are losing their shit. They're excited you're here to stay. They're happy that CA is not going anywhere. So that being said, you have a lot of support, man. Supporters. I do want you to take a moment here to say something to your supporters. If there's anyone else out there doubting themselves, kind of give them a message. Let them know what you can, you know, just give them something, bro, if you don't mind.
You know, honestly, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been with us throughout the years. All their support, you know, friendship, business. You know, we've met a lot of you, and we can't thank you enough for the support over the years. It means the world to us. It keeps us going every day, and you know, we're very grateful for it. I'm very grateful for it, and we really appreciate it. And I hope this, you know, made some of you smile, and I hope you guys are definitely in lighter spirits, knowing that CA is going to be around. And like I said, don't give up, don't quit. Whatever you do, the second you give up, the second you quit, all that hard work was for nothing. So keep your head up, keep moving forward, and we'll see you guys in the future.
The near future. The future is here. The future is bright. I feel the future is very bright, Daniel. You need to understand that the future is fucking bright, my man. I'm talking about brighter than your racks, and your racks are pretty bright. I'm just saying, bro, you have the brightest racks in the game. But they are the number. Okay, again, real quick, where did the rack idea come from? Did you get those professionally painted, or like what racks are those? Real quick, give us what's the info on those racks? Just curious.
You know, it was just something different. You know, Britt picked the colors out. She picked, you know, we're still in the beginning stages of, we knew we wanted to go with green. We had to find a special green. It's actually a 2-stage powder that we put on it. Actually 3-stage. We did them white, and then had to put the green and the clear coat through them. But it worked out really well. It branded CA. We're going to do some more cool stuff in the future. I got some ideas in my head. Like I said, ideas are nothing, execution is everything. And I think it was Justin that taught me that. So we're definitely gonna move forward with CA and see you guys in the future.
Now, before you leave, is the availability, one more time, the best way to get your availability is on Morph Market, right? Because a lot of people do, whatever you do have for grabs, people are going to want to know exactly where to get that. And I will put the link in the description below. But where can people find all the stuff that you have available at?
Morph Market. Everything's on Morph Market. I'm doing it the best I can. Trying to it. So we're definitely moving forward. It's been overwhelming, man. And like I said, if you guys have messaged me recently and I haven't got back to you, I apologize. I've been super, super busy. But everything is going to head a better direction. It really, really is. And I can't wait to see you guys and in the near future. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, Daniel, this was a great conversation. This was a great finally get you on here and hearing what the real deal is, man. I'm not going to listen to no rumors anymore because now we know what the facts are. CA's here to stay.
That's right.
But yeah, man, you have a great night. I'll be in touch with you. Okay, we'll talk soon. And,
all right, buddy.
Yep. All right, man. Have a good one. See you, Daniel.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, guys. There you have it. Daniel Allison from Constriction to Contradiction. I can't even talk right now. I'm just pretty excited right now, man. I was expecting some heavy shit, or I was expecting something where like it wasn't enough, right? Like it wasn't like a good enough excuse. And I'm sorry, man, if I want to get the truth out of people, and if I feel like you're giving me a bullshit fucking answer, I'm gonna dig deeper. I'm gonna dig deeper. I didn't have to do that tonight, man. Daniel just told us what was up. He ain't going anywhere. Shit just hit the fan, which, dude, it happens, man. Shit's gonna hit the fan. In this hobby, shit hits the fan all the time, man. Listen, shit hit the fan for me today, okay? I'm not going to give you too much details, but I did start a Patreon page where I'm going to give all, like, anything that hits the fan, anything that hits the good fan, anything like that, the shit that I don't really put out on all my lives, I'm going to start putting out on my Patreon page. So hit that link description below if you want to join the Patreon page. I'm not too keen on it yet. I just made it, so join it, man. I want to start my own private trappers, my own group of trappers where we're talking about shit and giving you guys insight on stuff. And I'm going to bring on special guests on the Patreon page and do really cool stuff there. So make sure you go check that out. Make sure you support that if you can, and make sure you, man, if you listen. A lot of you guys, obviously a lot of new viewers in the building. I appreciate you guys checking it out. If you did enjoy this interview in any way, please hit the subscribe button, man. Subscription button's right there. Hit the bell. That way you're notified with any new interviews, new trap sessions that we bring to the table. And then obviously, if you are not a big fan on the YouTube side, right? If you're somebody who just rather listen, I don't blame you for that. But if you rather just listen, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on all the other, podcast platforms out there. Okay. So a lot of different options that you could go check out. Link in the description below if you want to listen to this and gain some knowledge, because at the end of the day, man, this is the only reason behind this podcast is to gain knowledge. Like, listen, I do this so I can gain just as much as knowledge as all you guys who are watching. And that's it, plain and simple, man. I appreciate doing this, and you guys are amazing. And I do this. A lot of you guys are a lot of my supporters is why I do this too, because I fucks with you guys heavy. Yeah, man, Daniel's here to stay. That's fucking awesome. I'm really stoked. I'm really, really happy to hear that. Let me think. Do I have anything else? I think I was missing something, but I'm not. But I'm gonna say what up to some people in the comments. Straight Fire was in the building, man. Straight Fire Reptile, what up, bro? Thank you so much for tuning in. Heavy hitter that was in attendance. I appreciate you. Another heavy hitter that was in attendance was Dale Richards. Appreciate you, Dale. Thank you so much. Barry, what up, Thunder Magnum? Another OG homie. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. The young homie, Calvin Garcia. Calvin, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Mac Lorenzo, your shirt's in the mail. You should be getting your shirt like any minute, my man. So stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out. Check your mail. You should be getting that any second. I appreciate your patience. Anyone else who's gotten a Zoo Dream shirt and haven't gotten it yet, This is like your third call out. Like, let me know, okay? Because I done retired from that shit. I don't do retail no more. But if you did order a shirt and you can show me confirmation that you ordered it and just didn't receive it, well, then I will take care of you. Just come reach out. Let me know, okay? I don't know if you don't reach out to me. Fuck, retail, dude. It's not fun. I'll tell you that right now. But it's a part of the game. Not everything's going to be so easy in life, right? And that's why I really appreciate Daniel really saying, hey, look, I was only speaking from an emotion. He was pretty stressed out probably at that time. He was probably like, who knows what the guy was going through, because we all go through shit. And nobody really knows what people are really going through on the other side, right? So, you know what I mean? It's not always a perfect world, man. People are always fucking battling their shit. So Daniel's fighting through it. He's good. CA's here to stay, like I said. I don't want to keep repeating it, but I'm super stoked that he's here to stay. That's the mission behind this podcast tonight, was to see what was going on with CA. And he's here to stay. So tune in for next week's Trap Talk with MJ. Who do we got? Oh, I know who we got. It's going to be good. And then, yeah, man, Unfiltered Reptiles podcast. Make sure you check that out as well. We have a really cool guest that's coming on. It's probably going to be it will be a 4-hour episode. It's going to be crazy information load. It's a couple. One of them's a veterinarian. So be ready for that. Like I said, if you were a part of this show tonight and you liked it, and even if it's not your first time and you've been here before, please, man, do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe. Not that hard. Doesn't cost you any money to hit the subscription button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. That way you could possibly run into your episode where you see your favorite breeder. You never know. Or you might see your breeder's favorite breeder. You never know. Because that's kind of what happens on this show. I'm telling you. I can just be ready. So, yeah, man. You guys are dope. I will have some merch coming out soon. And that's another reason why you should join the Patreon page, because the Patreon motherfuckers are going to get first dibs on some serious MJ merch. Okay? MJ merch. Exotics Cartel merch. Podcast merch. Snake Trap Session merch. Shit that people have been asking me for I don't know how long. Can I get a sticker? All this shit. Well, my Patreon motherfuckers get all that shit first. Period. But I want to know who you are. Who's my Patreon motherfucker? Who's here to ride with me? Because, dude, this shit ain't stopping. Especially when shows. Listen, so before I leave, I want to kind of also let you know what we have in store, okay? And I don't really like to share what things are going to be like in the future, because I'm just not that type. I like to keep shit under. But these shows I'm going to be attending, I'm going to be having live I'm going to be at booths. I'm going to be more likely at Cold Blooded Cafe's booths, but I'm going to be there doing interviews at the fucking shows. I'm not going to be biting no Triple B TV shit, because Cusco's just handsome and he does his shit the way that he does it. Can't get to that level, but I'm going to be doing my own little MJ versions of interviews at shows. So just be ready for that, man. I got a lot of people in store. We're going to be seeing a lot of animals and shit like that. All sorts of stuff. I'll tell you more if you're a Patreon member. So go to that link down in the description below, and we'll talk more about it. Hit me up. You got any